semester, but still we'll discuss these things. Then big data mining applications, okay. Then context of the big data, okay. So here you will also learn the concept of the machine learning, but in the point of view of what? The big data, okay. So now you may be confused, like you have already learned what data warehousing, data mining, then machine learning, then you have also heard of something in the term like the deep learning, then the big data, isn't it? So what is the difference between all these? Any idea? What is the relationship between the big data, data mining, machine learning? Who will say? Anybody?
सर आई थिंक सर बिग डेटा मतलब जो इनॉर्मस अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा है, जैसे कि वर्ल्ड वर्ल्ड मैप में हर एक सेकंड में एक एक इंडेक्स जनरेट होता है, मतलब जैसे कि लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ डाटा जहाँ जहाँ पे जनरेट होता है वो बिग डेटा।
Okay.
तो लाइक डाटा माइनिंग मीन्स वो कैसे पैटर्न पे जा रहा है वो देखना डाटा माइनिंग, मतलब वहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है।
And machine learning?
सर मशीन लर्निंग मतलब सर मे बी सर उन दोनों को मिला के कोई एआई टाइप का क्रिएट करना, उन दोनों को एनालाइज करके कोई एल्गोरिथम में डाल के कुछ एमएल
Okay.
टाइप।
Now see, normally what happens? Do you know what is the most precious thing in the world? Any idea? What is the most precious thing in the world? Diamond.
सर टेक्नोलॉजी के स्टूडेंट है तो सर डाटा ही बोलेंगे।
Data. Very good. Data is the most precious thing in the world. Okay. Whatever thing you see, the entire our society is entirely depends on the data. Okay. So data is the most precious thing. Okay. But now with the like the development of new technologies, informations are being like the gathered from the data. So now the volume of the data, the size of data is being increased in every seconds, isn't it? Now you cannot say like what is the size of the internet. In every seconds, millions of systems are being added to the internet, isn't it? Now if we'll see the entire data which is propagated around the internet or around the network, is the size of the those data is keep on increasing day by day, isn't it? Now where those data goes? Those data are stored in large scale storages. Those data are not deleted. Those data are stored in large scale and like devices. Okay. So those data are basically some historical data. Now this entire thing is basically where the data is stored in a, suppose in a building, say suppose there are hundreds of computers are there, in all those computers data are stored. So those data maybe you can call it as a data mart, isn't it? You can say call it as a data mart. Now similarly, say suppose there are hundreds of data marts are there or thousands of data marts are there. Okay. So under a company, then you can say call it as a data warehouse. Now not only that, there are many data warehouses across the globe, isn't it? Now just imagine searching a specific information from those historical data of data warehouse is not an easy task, isn't it? Okay. It's something like if I will throw a needle into a football ground and I will tell you over here, you just go and find it out. It's something like that only. So now how you will gather those informations quickly as and when requested by the users. So there are many kinds of like the programming models, algorithms has been devised to access those data quickly and has been to present in front of the user, right? That accessing the data or the methods to access those data is known as what? Data mining. Basically the mining of data. Now in the data mining, there is one branch that is called machine learning. Machine learning. Okay, there is one branch, it is called what? Machine learning. It is something like this. You are learning biology. In the biology, there is a branch that is called zoology, and another is the botany, isn't it? So similarly, here under the data mining, there is a branch that is called what? Machine learning. Now using, there are many machine learning algorithms, as you have seen the decision trees, Bayesian classifiers, and okay, neural networks. There are many techniques are there. Those techniques have their own merits, own demerits. We will learn those things in the upcoming classes, right? Now, when you talk about the big data, means the large scale data. You will say basically the large scale data. Like you see a gene data, okay, or basically a brain signal data. You see, in 1 second, millions of rows are being created or instances has been created, and out of those you have to fetch a certain specific pattern. You have to understand like which like instances basically belongs to which class. Okay, so those kind of data is basically what you can say the your large scale data. Now if we will use the traditional machine learning on the large scale data, it will not work. It will not work. Okay, so for in order to work the machine learning processes, then what you will do, you will fetch certain data out of the big data, out of the large scale data. You will fetch certain data out of the big data. That data is known as what? The samples. You will create a samples, and on the samples you will just test the things. Now this election polls is being going on, isn't it? Sometimes you have seen in the exit poll, isn't it? What they are doing basically, the real voting is going on. At the same time, the news agency, what they used to do, they used to pick up certain peoples from the street and ask them to whom you have voted. They choose for certain party, that is I have voted for this, I am voted for him. Like then getting those information, say suppose 100, 200 or 300 people or maybe thousands peoples from a city, from a district. Okay, the poll manager identifies that okay, so now this person has the probability or chances that it may win, because from these samples 70% or 80% people are saying like this person will win. Okay, so there is a huge chance that this person will win the election. So that is basically there is known as what? Exit poll. Okay, or the prediction before the actual result comes up. So in almost in all cases, what happens when the real result comes? When the real result comes, it matches to the predictor. Like whatever the predictor result has been predicted earlier, it is normally it matches. Okay, if party A is supposed to be win in this upcoming election, it has been predicted through the exit poll, normally party A wins. Okay, but sometimes it differs. Sometimes it does not happens, isn't it? Why it does not happens? Because of the way of you are collecting the this thing sample. Say suppose I am creating an exit poll. Okay, I am creating one exit poll. अब मैंने क्या किया, ये जस्ट रामपुर बाजार में गया, लाइक रामपुर बाजार में जाके 100 लोगों को पूछा कि लाइक अभी इलेक्शन में कौन जीतेगा, ठीक है, कौन जीतेगा, ठीक है। अब 100 लोगों ने बोल दिया कि नहीं यहाँ पे चामलिंग जीतेगा, पक्का जीतेगा। अब उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि मैं आके प्रेडिक्ट किया कि लाइक ओके चामलिन विल विन। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस एट द एंड, गोले हैज बीन विन, because I am focusing a specific area. I am not focusing the entire area, or I am not focusing the entire mass, or maybe it may happens the 100 people that I have choose, they are the like the Chamling supporters. It may happen, isn't it? So it is always wise to work on the real data instead of the samples. But in other way around, the question is basically, is it possible? Is it possible to work on the real data? Sometimes it is possible, sometimes it is not. If the number of people is limited, if you want to predict who will win in a village, then it is easy to predict because you are having limited number of people in a village. But who will win the election in Sikkim? It is not possible to go individual house or individual to identify individual people and to predict who will win. It is not possible. So in that case, we are bound to take the samples. But if you have certain way to collect data from all the peoples across the Sikkim and predict the result, then well, your algorithm is perfect. So now let us take this example to the case of the machine learning. Now in case of machine learning, what happens? The machine learning algorithms, if I will employ the machine learning algorithm directly on the big data or the large scale data, okay, then your machine learning algorithm will stop working, because those algorithms are specifically designed to work on a small scale data, a little number of samples. So that is why we have to generate samples, and on the samples we have to use the machine learning algorithm so that we can predict what will be the end result. Okay, but there are certain algorithms which can works on the entire data, in the big data, in the large scale data. Okay, so those algorithms we will learn while learning your big data, that subject, while we learn this thing, going through these subjects, we will learn those algorithms. So these are there. Similarly, there are many techniques are there: data cleaning process, sorting, categorizing. Those there are some data related processes. Those also we will learn in this big data modeling or big data analytics classes. Okay. There are many rules are also there. This also will also learn. Okay. So these two subjects are there. These two subjects are interrelated. But here in your this thing MCA point of view, the content is completely different from each other except few topics, one or two topics. The rest of the contents are different. So that is why we cannot combine this. We have to take different classes for this thing, big data and machine learning. Okay. So machine learning, the textbooks also I have uploaded over there. Okay. So now if we'll see the textbooks, it matches entirely to your syllabus. Everything is there over. Okay. Out of these also, I will also give you certain notes for each and every chapters. Okay. I'll also upload these things. Now for the big data, I was unable to arrange this thing textbooks, because these textbooks are by the Indian authors. So normally Indian authors textbooks are not freely available on the internet. So somehow I have to arrange it. If it is not there, then try to identify from your library. Okay, you cannot come to the library right now, that I'm sure. But if I'm able to arrange it, I will just share it with all of you. Okay, so this is for the basically for your introduction. In Wednesday, tomorrow we will start from this thing, machine learning class at 11 o'clock. Right? So this class I am removing over here. This class is not there. This class is not there. So ultimately, you will have only one class in the second app. Okay. Okay, for today, this much is enough. So all of you can exit right now. So let me take the attendance. Okay, all of you can exit right now. Okay, yeah, I got the attendance.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.